Bada beep, bada boop, bada boop, bada beep. Welcome to Godfather Minute. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andy Robinson.
And together we are the Godfather Minute
Brothers.
Boys.
Butters.
Should we go by boys? Is that better?
The Godfather Minute Boys.
Is that better?
Sure.
We can alternate if we want to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely better. It's more fitting for the time period, no doubt.
Yeah. Although they do with those the Rosado brothers too.
That's true, yeah. So who is more? What's a more effective group, the Rosado brothers or the Lakeville Road Boys?
Well, the Rosado brothers definitely get more mentions because they're like the kind of off-screen main bad guys. You always hear about
they're taking prisoners. So what he says, taking prisoners or hostages? What does he say, Frankie? We'll get to it in GF2.
Yeah. It's getting too far off, right?
Stick around. We'll be right back with GF2.
Well, today we're talking about minute 72 of The Godfather. Minuto numero 62.
Oh, that was the closest you've ever come.
Dos?
Due. 62.
Forgot, it's more Latin sounding.
Say it, Alex.
62.
You got it.
Minuto numero 62.
You got it.
Minuto numero 62 starts, it's right back at the compound. It starts off with Tessio telling Clemenza and Mikey that they hit Bruno Tattaglia at 4 a.m. that day.
Yeah.
And then they go inside where Sonny reveals that the Turk wants to make a deal that they can't refuse. It's weird that he uses that phrase, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It
must be a common vernacular back then among crime bosses.
But isn't that like a threat? Isn't that like by saying it's an offer you can't refuse, meaning like you're either going to accept it or get killed? But Sonny's like, he says we can't refuse. He's all happy about it.
Sonny's not that sharp crime boss. He's a good wartime boss, but
he's not smarty. He's Sonny.
Well, no. I think Sonny sees through it. I think Sonny's joyous, which we'll talk about in a second. But he knows that, because remember later he says, no more Sollozzo deals, no more Sollozzo tricks. So he knows that even if this is a threat or a trick, that he's not going to fall for it.
He is saying that the Turk thinks he has the superior position, and therefore the Turk is a fool because he thinks he's making us an offer we can't refuse.
Yes.
Got it.
But in fact, they can refuse it.
And do refuse it.
Well, but they make the Turk think that they are not refusing it. Because that's why they send Michael to the restaurant. Right.
Which is, okay, well, yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But rest in peace, Bruno Tattaglia.
Oh, boy.
We were a big fan of your magic. Yeah. Working that lighter pre-war scotch.
No more magic tricks for Bruno Tattaglia.
The only one he's doing is disappear.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruno Tattaglia, you won't see him no more.
A great final disappearance of Bruno Tattaglia. So if you were Bruno Tattaglia and you knew...
I'd be dead.
You would be. And if you knew you were getting whacked as a result of this conflict, would you try to incorporate some final magic trick?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I knew I couldn't get a...
If you knew you were going to die, would you go to the Corleone and say, hey, you can kill me. I know you're going to kill me anyway. Let me go out in some cool magician style. And what would you do?
Well, I guess... so they're the ones killing me, but not necessarily in like, the first thing I thought of was, I would get in a basket and they would put swords into the basket. But I don't, that seems like a very slow and painful death.
Yeah.
And because I feel like I would want to do something that would hurt the other people too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you're going to go down kamikaze style. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe do one of those like booths where I get in the booth, I close the door, they spin it around, and then the whole building blows up or something. And then the box is actually bomb proof.
Oh,
so it
he's
kills everyone
saving
else
us.
except for me.
It's a great design. Yeah.
All you have to do is convince all your enemies to watch you do a magic act, and you can. Why, you have a better?
No, nothing to get back at the Corleones. I guess I would want to go out in style. I would want to drown in a vat of pre-war scotch.
That's pretty good. I guess ultimately your revenge would be that they could never figure out how your trick was done.
Yeah, because you would have to either you wouldn't want to get burned to death and then your dead corpse be there, because then people would say, oh, he was a terrible magician. He died from his own trick.
Yeah.
You'd have to disappear at the end of it.
Yeah.
Or make people think that you didn't die.
Well, yeah, or at least die in a way that they did not see. They couldn't figure out how it happened.
Yeah.
Like you were up there and you're like, and for my next trick, you just fall on the ground. They're like, oh my God, what happened to him? And you're just dead there with a smile on your face. And
then, well, then your heart stops. You're brought to the Buonasera's morgue.
And he revives you.
And he revives you. And he comes out. Oh, Scotch, pretty much rambling.
People always do that. They're like, it's like they're holding their breath that whole time.
I know, you think they'd come out slowly.
Yeah, like coughing.
In
That's
a
what
daze. Yeah.
Yeah, poor Bruno Tattaglia.
And Bruno Tattaglia gets awakened by Buonasera. He's like, oh, what am I? And Buonasera's like, will you be my friend? He's already learned the lesson from the Godfather.
He keeps all these guys prisoner in his in the basement of his
living on Sanka.
They're also jittery.
No, it's decaf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're jittery because they need caffeine.
Well, yeah, and also because they're not getting any of their vitamins and nutrition.
He truly is a corpse valet.
So we can see a bit of Mikey's swollen jaw. And this is continuing his transformation into
the last Don. The last.
Yeah, so I never thought about that. I don't remember whether I saw it in a YouTube video or read about it, that it's like symbolic that his face is getting all swollen, and his jaw too, because we know Marlon Brando stuffs his cheeks with like paper, so here he is now with his cheeks, so his cheek all swollen.
It's
like,
a rite of passage to become a crime boss.
You have to,
your face has to become swollen.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Sonny's like, beautiful. Yeah, you look beautiful.
Because he wants him to be the
well, maybe not the crime boss, but I mean, Clemenza gained weight. Everyone fills in.
Oh, that's
the
true.
more evil they get.
Yeah. There should have been a scene where Sonny was all like looking at his face in the mirror, trying to like puff out his cheeks. And like, Pop got jowls. Look what I got.
Well, that's why Fredo was stepped over, because he's always too skinny.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he was a very sickly child too. So that is Fredo that we see as a sick baby, right? In Godfather 2,
yes.
where they're putting the cups.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No, and I don't even know what that is supposed to do. Like circulation?
It's supposed to remove the toxins from your body.
Really? Does it work?
Well, if you're asking me, I'd say no. Because one thing I don't get about this whole toxins thing, like, oh, if you do this thing, it expels toxins. Like, what does it mean? Like, you're going to see like black goo coming out of where do these toxins go when they're in your body and then they leave? I can understand if you're like pooping it out or something, like colonic or something, but I don't know how putting a cup is supposed to remove.
Well, even doing a cleanse. So my wife is a veterinarian, as you know, and we talked about this. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And she thinks most of that stuff is really garbage nonsense, like doing those juice cleanses, because it doesn't. She argues that there's stuff in your body that's getting processed, but you're not really expelling these toxins. Like, what is a toxin?
That's what I mean. It's so vague as to be like.
Yeah. I mean, there are free radicals that can be neutralized by antioxidants. I know that, but even that, I don't even know how all that works.
My wife has done the cupping thing.
And did she feel better?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like, I feel like a lot of that stuff is like a placebo effect. So, it's like, and not to discount the placebo effect. It can be a powerful, it can be a powerful thing.
Yeah. Michael Corleone, you're living up here in Lake Tahoe. You're drinking champagne cocktails and detoxing. What's he doing?
Toxins.
What's he doing, Cheech? Detox.
Oh no, there ain't no toxins.
Yeah, Frank. Yeah, Frankie, we were real sad about that when he died from all those free radicals.
His chakra was totally out of line.
Hey, before we go into the scene in the office, one more little bit that I want to share about McCluskey, which is really from the preceding scene.
Okay.
McCluskey
flashback.
standing back. So page 127. Okay, so in the movie, Mikey, pretty much we see him go to the compound with Hagen and Clemenza. But in the book, as I said last minute, Mikey passes out and he is admitted to the hospital. That same hospital, when he wakes up, Hagen is there and fills him in on all this stuff. So that's where the scene takes place. Hagen spoke quietly. Sonny has an inside man. That Detective Phillips who tried to protect you. He gave us the scoop. The police captain, McCluskey, is a guy who's been on the take very heavy ever since he's been a patrolman. Our family has paid him quite a bit. And he's greedy and untrustworthy to do business with. But Sollozzo must have paid him a big price. McCluskey had all Tessio's men around and in the hospital arrested right after visiting hours. It didn't help that some of them were carrying guns. Then McCluskey pulled the official guard detectives off the Don's door, claimed he needed them and that some other cops were supposed to go over and take their place, but they got their assignments bollocksed. Baloney. He was paid off to set the Don up. And Phillips said he's the kind of guy who will try it again. Sollozzo must have given him a fortune for openers and promised him the moon to come.
Nice.
Interesting, right? How he's actually, McCluskey the whole time has been on the Corleone's payroll.
Well, so yeah, that's
crazy.
That goes to the question we had like a couple of weeks ago. Where we were saying, is McCluskey like fully in the pocket of one family, or is he just kind of like a guy for hire where he'll work with anybody? And so this makes it sound like the latter.
Yeah, he's just raking in the cash. Kind of like the actor who plays him. Remember, he would just get hired to play all these different.
I just
jobs.
want my boat. I want to build my boat.
Yeah, this guy is a communist. That guy's a communist. Just pay me, Senator. Remember, he routed out all his actor friends.
Yeah, we can regret it at least.
Senator, you owe my friends an apology.
So into the office we go. The Don's office, where we see Sonny, who seems pretty happy. He's beaming.
He is.
Tamanouch. I looked up information about Tamanouch. Some people were saying that they thought that it sounded more like a Jewish term than an Italian term. And they were saying because Jimmy Kahn, you know what? We got to talk about rollerball. I saw rollerball.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about that in the bonus content.
You got it.
Yeah, so Jimmy Kahn is Jewish or half Jewish, and they were saying they thought that he kind of improvised that line, and that's why it wasn't. But then some other Italian people were like, no, it's a kind of term, make it something into a term of affection, putting that thing at the end.
It's funny, we grew up in New York around a lot of Italians, and that does sound familiar because I do have friends who have said like "ooch" at the end of phrases and names and things. So I think it's used.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it too.
Tamanouch.
I wish I knew anyone named Tom. I would start calling them that.
Yeah, you don't hate Tom Hagen.
That's true. I'm going to start calling him Tamanouch Hagen now.
Yeah.
So Sonny gives us a lot of information in this bit. We kind of get updated as to what's been going on with the Toik. How much longer does the Turk have
before he's shot?
Before the Turk is shot.
Turk is shot in minute 90, and this is minute 72, so that's 18 minutes.
18 minutes.
Should we give him a little shoot the Turk countdown?
Yes, we should.
Or maybe should we just give a little snippet of it? Because it is a good 3 minutes long.
Oh, yeah. Just do a sampling.
Okay, we'll do the McCluskey bits.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, here we go. Shoot the Turk countdown.
Well, you got whacked, but we still got the Turk. And this Captain McCluskey, he's a stupid jerk. They're gonna kill Pop so their bank accounts can feel. Sonny, relax. It's business, not personal.
Business, not personal.
We need a plan, and Tessio's our man.
For my arrangement. Wait a minute. Have a seat.
So that's coming up in 18 minutes.
18
Alex.
minutes, everyone. Get ready. Eat your dinner now because it's going to get pretty violent and gory in 18 minutes.
So in the bonus content, we are going to talk about Rollerball. Do we also want to start talking about the possible next countdown or some ideas for what we'll put on the support page for people to vote on?
Yeah, we can start talking about that.
Okay.
I don't have that much to say about Rollerball.
Yeah. You come on, just tell us now. You didn't finish it, did you?
No, this one I totally finished it. And by it, I mean the Wikipedia summary. Go into details later.
Yeah, okay.
Another odd phrase that he says, Sonny says, ye gods. According to the script, he says, ye gods. Can you imagine the nerve of this guy?
Oh, wow.
He says, ye gods. I don't know,
Oh, wow.
for some reason, he says it almost where it sounds like an Italian thing, like
Yeah.
gods. But
Yeah.
in the script, it says, ye gods. Can you imagine the nerve of this guy?
Wow, that's weird. It's
weird,
You think
isn't it?
that's accurate? Or is it something he said and then he kind of improvised and then retroactively someone transcribed it?
I guess either way, it's weird.
Yeah.
Ye gods is such a strange,
You gods. Yeah.
archaic expression.
Mm-hmm. I love how he says the Turk craps out. I love how he uses the dice comparison. It's awesome.
So when he said,
that's in the book too.
so this is now 2 days after
The Dawn was shot.
the Don was shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Don is shot.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey hears the news when he's with Kay.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the compound,
Mm-hmm.
and then from the compound he goes back to see Kay.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the next day.
Well, he's shot in the morning, and that's all that same
No,
night.
he shot in the evening because they're going home. Remember?
Oh, they're going home, yeah, but it's not dark out yet.
No, yeah, it's not dark out.
So I think that same night.
That's when Mikey comes to the house, to the compound.
Mm-hmm.
So then the next day is that next evening, approximately 24 hours after the Don is shot is when the hospital bit happens.
Mm-hmm,
And so this is now 24 hours after that.
Yeah,
or
I
the
think
next
so.
day.
Yeah.
The next morning, I guess.
Mm-hmm. The next morning.
Because he says, when he says the Turk crapped out last night,
Mm-hmm.
he means didn't get to kill Don.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a great gambling reference. He craps out.
All right, so I was just trying to figure out the timeline here. That it's only 48 hours. What an action-packed 48 hours.
Yeah, it's really crammed in there.
Yeah, he crapped out last night. Wants a meeting today.
Yeah.
And then Tom says, "Oh, what did he want?" And then, Sonny has a bit of a stroke. He's like, "Bada beep, bada boop, bada beep, bada boop, bada beep."
He's like, this, that. He wants to sit down. Does he
Yeah.
go through the whole thing in this minute? Does he explain everything that? Yeah, he does.
Well, no. He just says, "Oh yeah." He says he wants to sit down with Mikey
Mm-hmm.
to make us an offer he can't refuse. So
Yeah.
I was interested. This is the first time I noticed that the Turk is the one who proposes Mikey be the go between. I never really noticed that before.
Yeah. Yeah, you sort of forget about that. You always assume that.
So why did the Turk want that? Because he figured that he'd be safer.
Yeah, that he wouldn't meet face to face with Sonny because of that famous temper of his.
Right, but not like Clemenza or Fat Clemenza or
I mean, everyone knows Mikey is a civilian,
right.
which is ironic because he's the only real soldier in the family.
But you think he thought it was just because Mikey wouldn't. I'm surprised that he would think Mikey would do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the book, there's nothing about that too. They just same thing as in the movie. They just say Mikey's going to. He wants Mikey to come and sit and make the deal.
I wonder why.
Yeah, don't know. Do you know why Santino is so happy in this scene?
Well, I'm assuming it's because they killed Bruno Tattaglia earlier that morning.
Puzo suggests another reason.
Is this about Lucy?
Hey, Lucy, Sonny's happy. Can I read from the book?
Sure.
Page 129. The five of them sat around the room, but the atmosphere was different from their earlier meetings. Sonny was gayer, more cheerful, and Michael realized what that gaiety meant. There were no longer any doubts in his older brother's mind. He was committed, and nothing would sway him. The attempt by Sollozzo the night before was the final straw. There could no longer be any question of a truce. So, and that's all he says about why Sonny is happy. I interpret that as Sonny's happy because he doesn't have to really do much thinking. At this point, he's just being himself, which is a wartime boss.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
There's no like moral complexity. He's just like, yo, that's it. We're just fighting them. Great.
Yeah, no
now
negotiations. It's just war strategy.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, great. This is something I can do.
Yeah.
And he did prove himself in the previous war, the War of the Five Families or whatever it was called.
Right. Yeah.
Earlier in the books, Puzo wrote how Santino really became very experienced in war.
Do we know when that happened? How long ago that was?
I'd have to go back and check. It was
A lot of bad blood.
Yeah, within the past 10 years, maybe.
So Sonny was probably like a young
kid,
early 20s or something.
Yeah.
High school, maybe. Even. Do you think Sonny went to high school?
No.
Look, we know you don't think he went at all, or you don't think he graduated?
I think maybe he started, but didn't graduate.
What year do you think he got out? And you're in education, so you probably have a better.
I am. I'll say, people back then went to school less and
It's true.
and progressed not as far through K through 12 education. So my guess is middle school he stopped going.
Wow.
I don't even know if he got into high school. If he made it that far.
Well, Mikey's a college boy, so he went all the way through high school, and I heard it's frequently very difficult for the children of immigrants to become super successful because by doing that they have to leave their family behind because they're all like provincial poor people and stuff, and obviously so anyway, I thought that was an interesting observation.
Well, we encounter that. I work in secondary education, so middle and high school, and you're absolutely right. The biggest challenge to getting kids to go to college first generation is being separated from their families.
Right.
And in all the surveys, all the anecdotal information is that even parents will pressure kids to not leave.
I believe it.
Yeah. Just because they're very tight families and being away.
Yeah. I remember when our friend Tony Consiglio, whose parents were off the boat Sicilians, and he lived with them until he was like 25 or something. And then we became roommates, and they were not, we lived like literally like a block and a half away from them. And they were like mad that he was moving out. Like, cause
Antonino moving out. Antonino's song.
They were so mad they had a heart attack.
And they ought to know by now.
Yeah.
So when he moved out, they were really putting the pressure on him.
Don't ask me why.
Well, they may be right. I mean, he should have stayed there.
I appreciate your honesty. Did Fredo go to high school? Is Mikey the only one who graduated from high school? Fredo couldn't have gone to high school.
You know what? I'm always taking this dissenting position. Is that what they call it? In terms of Fredo, my theory is that he's actually genius, and he's pulling strings, kind of like Miss Clemenza. I think he even skipped grades. He stepped over grades.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that would be appropriate. So he did his job too well because everyone thinks he's stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I got a PhD, I got a master's degree in art history.
I won the lawsuit.
That's all I have for minute 72. You got anything else you want to talk about?
See, McCluskey on the payroll of the Corleones. We're going to talk about the poll. We're going to poll our supporters in the bonus content, right? For what the next countdown should be.
Rollerball.
Oh, I do have one other thing. So when Mikey shows up in the office and he's got the swollen jaw, Sonny calls him over and says, "Let me take a look at you. You look beautiful, beautiful." I compared that to when Don Corleone said to Johnny earlier, "Hey, let me look at you. You look terrible." But it's great how Mikey, you could argue that Mikey looked much worse than Johnny. Johnny just looked a little tired.
Yeah.
But he looked terrible, yet Mikey looked beautiful.
I think their goal is always to bring everyone to like neutral.
Yeah.
Like
homeostasis.
Yeah, because like Johnny was a big star and you know, dressed in a tuxedo and so you look terrible. So he went down to like 0. Whereas Mikey was like -4. And he's like, "You look beautiful." So they go let's go up to 0. So
does that go beyond just the physical attributes? So like Fredo is disrespected so much that he has to work harder to get back to balance, back to neutral 0.
to 0.
And that's why he has to pull all these deals with Mo Green.
Right. Yeah. He has to that's why he tries to do the runaround by having Hyman, by teaming up with Hyman Roth against. What did Fredo? We'll talk about this next 2 years from now. But like, what did Fredo think was going to happen? I know he thought there was something in it for him.
Well, for making the deal with Mo Green.
Not
Mo Green, with Johnny Ola.
Yeah, and Hyman Roth. And there was something in it for me. But like, did he think he was going to have his own family, or what was the?
My guess is that there was going to be some type of piece of the operation that he would get money or control over some part of the operation if he could help
the Corleone family operation.
No, of Johnny Ola and Hyman Roth's operation. If he remember what he said was, if I could make the deal go through, then we can move it along.
There's something in it for me. So I wonder if he had been successful. Let's suppose I assume if they had succeeded in assassinating Michael, then probably the Corleone family would have. Although would they have then had Fredo be the head of the Corleone family? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like if he killed Mikey, the Fredo becomes the head of the family, and then they're under Hyman Roth's kind of like
they're annexed.
Yeah, they get
absolutely. Well, I think maybe Fredo would have gotten an expansion or renovation on his Mickey Mouse nightclub. Like, check out this new disco room I got because of the side business with Roth.
You got a karaoke machine. I just can't believe that Roth would have honored that agreement.
No way. Yeah, they played Fredo.
Yeah.
They completely played him.
Because he's so sweet.
He took sides against the family. What's worse, taking sides against the family, which is what Fredo did, or letting anyone outside the family know what you're thinking?
Or losing your family, which you can never do.
Because you can argue that, Fredo clearly betrayed the family by doing the dumb move and giving Johnny Ola and Roth information. Yet Sonny's misstep led to the assassination attempt on Don Corleone's life.
It is funny how I think a Corleone is somehow involved in the death of every Corleone except for Michael. Because although I guess the Don doesn't die the first time, but that's as a result of Sonny blurting his mouth out.
Yeah. And then Fredo's
and actually
betrayal.
When he does die is when when the kid sprays him with all that pesticide.
That's right. Scurvy poisoning.
We have
Fredo's betrayal leads to the
them trying to
assassination attempt on Michael's and Kay's lives.
And I guess in a way also Sonny's life too. Because Connie is used as the bait for Sonny's death.
She was beaten within inches of her life.
Right.
And I guess that's Carlo. Well, Carlo's kind of a Corleone at that point.
Right, yeah.
Through marriage.
He's actually a Reese.
Yeah. So what are you going to rank this one, Alex?
It's pretty good. You get some Sonny talking. You got some Tessio. We didn't even just talk about Tessio.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to give it 4 stars.
4?
Yeah, well, you got bada beep, bada boop, bada beep. You got...
this might be the first one that that you are overrating
Really?
compared to me. I'm going 3. It's a transition.
That's
They
true.
pull up to the compound. Fish delivers a good line, but you know,
Fish. Okay.
I feel like maybe in subsequent minutes where Sonny starts getting mad and Hagen's arguing.
Yeah,
that
you
may
know what? You're
bump
probably
it up.
right. 3 is probably more appropriate. I think after all those minutes where it was just silence and stuff, I was just so excited to have a minute where it was people talking.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, getting to see the gang interact.
Yeah,
and
it is
everything
always
like
fun
that.
to see him interact.
I apologize.
All right.
Would you
I accept
you
your-
be my friend?
Now you're learning, my brother.
All right, I guess that'll wrap up minute 72.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, guess what, everyone? If you want to email us, Godfather Minute at godfatherminute.com, godfatherminute@gmail.com, gmail.com, that other criminal organization, Gmail. So send us, we're still accepting MP3s or whatever format you want to send it to us.
Audio record yourself things.
And hopefully we'll have enough for to do a whole episode that is just people saying Zaza.
Which we'll do right probably on the minute where we analyze when Andy Garcia says that line in
Yeah.
GF3.
Yeah.
That'll be the Zaza spectacular episode. Everything Zaza. Anything and everything Zaza that minute.
all Zaza. And so, okay, until then, try the veal. It's the best in the city.